Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People's Show. Check the Post for Husker Nation. Brought to you by Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, today's show is about a particular Husker player, which I don't typically do, to be honest with you, because football, it's the ultimate team sport. I don't care whether you like Tom Brady or not. I don't care if you think he's the greatest football player of all time or the greatest cheater. I don't really care. He ain't any good if he's flat on his back because he needs his O-line. He ain't any good if he's got all day to throw if his receivers can't get open. So football is the ultimate team sport. So I don't very often single out a Husker and talk about them, unless it's the quarterback. That's really about the only guy I'll ever do it for obvious reasons. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the journey that we're on. I love the journey. All right, the journey to get better, the journey to compete, the journey to improve, the journey to get back to competing for championships at some point, hopefully in the near future, on a semi-regular to regular basis. But I did want to talk about Omar Manning and if he's able to play versus Northwestern, and if he's able to start getting on the field here in the near future. Now, Frost and his staff, they're kind of tight-lipped about things, about injuries, about things of that nature. Hey, I got no problem with that. I'd do the same frickin' thing. I wouldn't tell anybody anything. I wouldn't lie, although I'd be tempted to, but I totally respect that. But here are some things that were said a week ago, and I wanted to offer my thoughts on them. Now, Matt Lubick, at the press conference, completely brought up Omar Manning on his own, which in of itself tells you a lot. Okay, now this is a guy who hasn't played a down in a game. He hasn't done anything yet. So let's keep this all in perspective. But just listen to what Coach Lubick had to say a week ago. All right, and I quote, "He's explosive," talking about Manning. "He brings some size to the table." Manning is 6'4". "He's definitely our biggest receiver. I think right now he's about 215, 220 pounds. He has some strong hands. He's physical. He has a lot of good skill sets. The key now is getting Manning healthy. He's only recently gotten back on the practice field and confident, which means he needs which basically means he needs to know his assignments, he needs to get in shape, all those good things." Now, his openness about Manning and talking about him and bringing him up unpromptly, which coaches don't typically do, I think tells you a lot. Again, Manning hasn't done anything on the field yet, but that was a week ago. So he's had an opportunity to get some practices under his belt, to get some reps under his belt. And you got to remember, under the Scott Frost offense, they don't rotate receivers like every single play or frequently. They want receivers to be able to rip off 6 to 8 plays in a row. Okay, so he's got to know quite the vast array of plays, at least to a certain extent, because you can't just have this small package and then pop out for a play or two and pop in for a play or two. So he's had a couple of weeks to hopefully get those practices, get some reps under his belt, hopefully get healthy. Again, they're a little bit tight-lipped, but if you think about what could potentially be on the field, okay, right now you got Wan'Dale Robinson at wide receiver, and we've got some other guys who are pretty good wide receivers, but the defenses are focusing on him. When you have one good wide receiver, it makes it easier, for obvious reasons, for defenses to roll the coverage, to focus on him more. It's kind of like having one really good pass rusher. They're still going to get their sacks. They're still going to get their quarterback hits, but you can slide the protection on the offensive line that way. You can keep a tight end in. You can chip them with the back. But when you have two pass rushers, all of a sudden you can't do that to both of them. Somebody's going to have an advantage, a one-on-one pass rush. It's kind of the same thing with receivers. So if Omar Manning can produce a little bit on the field and start to grow and improve as the season goes along, perhaps this Saturday against Northwestern beginning there, that's going to open up things for Wan'Dale, going to open up things for Omar himself. And then you think about Dedrick Mills at running back. Hopefully we're able to get him the ball a little bit more this weekend. And then I'm going to call him the Wildcat, Luke McCaffrey. So you could have Wan'Dale, you could have Omar, you could have Luke McCaffrey. All right. As your Wildcat, you could have Dedrick. And then you look at an improved offensive line. They looked improved. Okay, still got to get more consistent, but looked improved versus Ohio State to me. And Adrian Martinez looks more explosive running this year. The question is, how's the passing game going to progress under Adrian or Luke or whoever's back there at the quarterback position based on any given play? To me, I think if Omar is as advertised, which we don't know yet, but if he can just start getting on the field and start making an impact, can help spread the field, because right now defenses are just bunching towards the line of scrimmage. If we can spread the field, it opens up everything. There's potential there, ladies and gentlemen. Go big red, and always remember to throw the bones. Thanks again to our sponsor, Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's your spine, you do not want to mess around, and experience matters. That's why you can trust the experts at Nebraska Spine Hospital, the region's only spine-specific hospital. They are the best at what they do.